Hello and welcome to Our Yard Podcast. This is episode 31, and today we're getting back to the basics. We're going to be talking about the Bad Blood review as well as a little bit of college football on the side. And I'm very excited to get into it, so there's no need for a long introduction. Go ahead and kick that shit.
Oh, let's go, brother. God damn.
Oh, yeah, so we're already here live in the mix. We're just fucking around, having a good time, having a bad time, having a time in general.
Listen, let's start this off. We're going to do this Bad Blood. So we did our picks and preview a little bit on TikTok. I made a post. It wasn't my best pick. Like, honestly, it's hard for me. Like, I've noticed on the B tier pay-per-views, I kind of miss. But on the top pay-per-views, I kind of hit, like, I'm usually hitting it perfect. I don't know why. But, anyways. So, obviously, we're just going to start it off with probably match of the year. Don't know why. Everybody's in an uproar. They were in an uproar before, during, and after this match. This should have been the main event. Like, fuck Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns and fuck all that bullshit. Like, they were, like, that was a decent, like, that was a cool tag team match, I guess. It didn't hold fucking CM Punk and Drew McIntyre's jockstrap. This was match of the year. Indefinite, like, until further pay-per-view notice. But
That's right.
this shit,
it's actually insane. It's like overall as a pay-per-view, this was a really good pay-per-view. But to start it off with CM Punk and fucking Drew McIntyre, I mean, you're kind of setting up the pay-per-view for failure. I think personally they should have the way they had the matches going, it wasn't a bad order. I would just flip CM Punk and Drew McIntyre to the bottom, And I understand why the main event was the main event. I get it. But
this is Roman's first match since WrestleMania, but
yeah, and Jimmy and Rock came back, but like it just feels more natural to like the big fight feel that CM Punk and Drew McIntyre had compared to like, Cody Rhodes and Reigns versus the Bloodline. It's just I don't know, dude. It felt a little underwhelming as far as like match order, but other than that, no complaints.
that and like it killed the crowd. Like this match was 32 minutes long. It took everything out of the fucking crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, it's without a doubt, it was awesome. It was just like you said, man, it needed to be the main event because for many reasons. One, it's Bad Blood pay-per-view. This has been the biggest fucking feud in all of professional wrestling. Not just a double E. We're talking about in all of fucking wrestling. This has been the best. This has been feud of the year. Like, this should have been, that is the definition of Bad Blood. This was the third match. This was the last match for this feud. And they put it on first. Like, that is a disgrace to do that to a legend like CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Like, Drew McIntyre might have solidified his legacy just in this fucking feud, dude. Like, we talked about it yesterday. Like, he has been on a generational run that I don't think anybody can hang with. Like, and I told Trevor yesterday during this match, I was like, if he wins a few more belts, it wouldn't be crazy to consider him a top 10 wrestler of all time. Talking about McIntyre. Because we know Punk is obviously top 10, if not top 5 all time. Like, this was, like, McIntyre showed the fuck out. The bumps he was taking, that fucking gnarly-ass brainbuster off the fucking top rope through the table, what a fucking spot. And then just all the nasty and grittiness to it, the fucking wrenches to the head, the fucking cage shots, fucking everybody's face, back cut open. I mean, it was hell in a cell. It was a perfect definition of what that match needs to be. It was great. It was a pure spectacle of wrestling that we were oh so gracious to witness live in the year of our Lord 2024. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. Like, it's just, we could do a whole episode just talking about that match alone. Like, that's how fucking good it was. I mean, without a doubt, two thumbs up, 10 out of 10. Like I said, it's match of the year. And, like, until further notice, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I mean, I can't really just speak about it more because that's just how, I mean, that's how I feel about it. That's where I am. And I don't even feel like that's a personal opinion. I feel like that's just a fact that it is. Like, from everybody talking about it online, everybody was just losing their mind on how fucking great it was. So, yeah. Those two guys, like, it's kind of, it's a little upsetting that, like, they're not going to feud anymore. But, I'm sure they'll cross paths again somewhere down the line. But, yeah, hell of a way to start out a show. And then kill the fucking crowd. Dude, that crowd was so exhausted by the second match.
They really were.
Like, going into Nia and Bailey. Which we can go into that unless you have some more stuff. Unless you have some more stuff you want to say about Punk and McIntyre.
Dude, fucking Punk and McIntyre, that bump that Drew took, like, small of his back across the fucking steel steps, made me physically cringe in the best way possible. Like, he took that unprotected hit with the damn toolbox. Fucking just brutal. Just absolutely brutal match. But that's what Hell in a Cell matches are supposed to be. They're not supposed to be little rinky dink. Oh, time to do some grappling. No, you're putting a Hell in a Cell across the ring from somebody when you hate them. And boy, do they hate each other. And I feel like the trilogy, Punk came out on top 2 out of 3, which was our prediction. We thought it was probably going to be a best 2 out of 3. And they may make it a 5-peat. They may make it a 7. We don't know yet. It could be a best of 7. If it's a best of 5, I feel like Drew's probably going to win the next 2 matches. And then Punk will probably even it out if it was best of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right now, that's what they said with that was the end of it. So both of them are going for titles. So we'll see how that's going to be the next thing is like them making their way to the title scene, which will be cool because it's wide open right now, truthfully. Like, and to get a CM Punk and Gunther match, woo, Survivor Series, that's what I fucking want. I want CM Punk and Gunther. That would be fucking awesome. Or another Gunther and McIntyre match. We know that shit would cook. But
man, it's like I mean, my thoughts are pretty much the same on it. Fucking 10 out of 10 match. I think the only ball they really dropped on this pay-per-view was making that the opening match, which is honestly kind of a slap in the face to not only the rivalry, but the fans that attended the match. And if they were wanting a match to kind of warm up the crowd, I mean, I would have started with Nia Jax and Bailey, personally. Or honestly, Damian Priest and Finn Balor would have been a really good starter match.
That would have been the opener. That should have been the opener. And then Bailey and Nia. And then, which I say that, but hell, honestly, I'll say that this is my hot take. I had it on the last paper on Bash in Berlin. Cody Rhodes has been so much better as the opening match than he has the main event since he's had his title. So, like, I think, even though it wasn't a title match, like, I think that would have been, like, to open that, you know, to open with that would have been, you know, cool as hell. But that's, you know, whatever. Like, even if The Rock would have come back and then say it was the second to last match and then you put Punk and McIntyre, everybody would have been ready for Punk and McIntyre.
Yeah,
You know,
it wouldn't have been like the pop. I think the collective pop throughout the Hell in a Cell match honestly beat out
anything.
and pretty much all of it. Yeah, like Jimmy coming back, The Rock, like I mean, and the Rock got a massive pop. Don't get me wrong, but it's just I don't know, dude. It's like I just really feel like it was. Yeah, I think they kind of dropped the ball on it. But other than that, dude, like I have no complaints about what the hell we just watched. Right after that, though, it gets into the Nia Jax and Bailey match, and it pretty much went as we expected. It was a very good showing from both. Nia didn't really have any points where she slowed down a lot. She did wind up crushing the referee, which kind of shot Tiffany running out to try to cash in her money and Miss Money in the Bank briefcase. Kind of dropped, kind of pretty much as expected. You know, it wasn't like I can't necessarily say that I was surprised by the outcome, but we both thought that Tiffy was going to cash in that night, and it's coming. Dude, they're teasing that. They're very much so teasing it. And SmackDown this week is probably going to be where Nia Jax just beats the piss out of Tiffany.
Yeah,
And
I think maybe it'll be at Crown Jewel that they'll, because that'll be in a few weeks. That'll be, I don't know the date yet, but I'm usually the first weekend of November. So
yeah. And the way they're doing it right now, it's like, you know, the way Triple H was saying, this is later on in the pay-per-view. We're not trying to jump the gun too much, but Triple H did say all the champions were going to go against each other in non-title matches is what he said. But they're going to be going against each other in these, does that mean like the U.S. title is going to go against the Intercontinental title?
he just said the world titles. He said like the world heavyweight versus the WWE championship.
Whew.
For the men
That's
and
going to be a hell of a match.
So right now it's looking like Cody Rhodes. If it did it today, if they don't have a change before then, it'll be Cody versus Gunther, which will fucking cook. And I think Gunther should win. You know, Cody fans, like, look, I don't have a problem with Cody Rhodes. He's cool. You know, and there's a lot of Cody fans out there, but if you look at me dead in the face and say that he's better than Gunther and that Gunther should fucking lose, you're out of your mind. You're fucking wrong. Like, Gunther just needs to keep winning until he drops the title. I mean, and he might not hold the title to WrestleMania. I mean, I can't promise. I don't know what their plans are, obviously. But, like, Gunther is a very good champion. And, like, he showed that last night cutting that promo. But, you know, we'll get into that a little bit, you know, after this match. Or after the Damian Priest and Finn Balor. But, yeah. Yeah, it's going, so, and then like, of course that's the men, and then on the women's, you're looking at Nia Jax versus Liv Morgan, which would be a cool match, like, to see Liv beat Nia, and then run out there and then have Tiffy cash in. You know, like run out there and cash in on her at Crown Jewel.
On Liv?
No. No, not, yeah. Like after Liv beats Nia.
Yeah, and that would be really funny to see, like, you know, Tiffy come out there and almost kind of play like, oh, I'm going to cash, because it gives her that opportunity to be like, who's she going to cash in on? Who's she going to cash in on? And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, she's out there to cash in on Nia Jax. And all of a sudden she hits Nia Jax with a fucking
Alabama Slam.
that prettiest moonsault ever.
Both
And
hit her with the Alabama Slam and then hit her with the prettiest moonsault ever, roll her up.
oh, dude, it would be great. Like, I am very, very excited to see where they go from here because that, like, again, like we're going to be saying this throughout, but hell of a pay-per-view all the way around.
Oh, yeah.
I do feel like it was a bit, I know I'm going to be saying this a lot, but I still do feel kind of like they dropped the ball just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And, the main event, not having the main event feel that the first match had.
Yep.
And I think that's a fair assumption. I know we're not the only ones that feel that way at all. So it's not like super big surprise, but
Yep.
it's kind of a little disappointing. But other than that, very good pay-per-view. Right after that, speaking of, Judgment Day BS, good old,
Damian Priest and Finn Balor.
that is correct.
Which, that, this is, to me, this is the weakest match of the night. And
Yeah.
obviously they dropped the ball on Finn Balor. They have, since he's got up from the main roster, since he came to the main roster in 2016, they have done nothing but drop the ball with him. And they did it again. He should have even with all the bullshit Judgment Day help, a guy gets one man and he still fucking loses. He hit the coup de grace twice. No, fuck out of here, dude. Like, I don't have a problem with Damian Priest. We've been vocal about how we feel about him. He's really turned a corner this year. Like, it's bullshit. Like, Finn Balor is a main event caliber wrestler. And, like, in the ring and how his characters are. Like, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense to where he's at. And, like, they just fucking buried him again. It's like, and now it's like, everybody's like, well, yeah, he's pretty much just fucked now. Like they can't even make him win a fucking feud. You know what I'm saying? It's just heartbreaking. Like, it's just to know how good of a talent he is and just be wasted like that is just very upsetting.
Yeah, because Finn Balor all time, it was really like his career has taken a major downward spiral ever since he had to drop the Universal title.
Yep.
And it's unfortunate because like he is worth his weight in gold as a worker. Yep. And to see them just kind of use him as just like this pedestal for all these other people is just unfortunate. And I can't say I'm surprised that they're doing it, but it's just like you would think by now that you would think by now there would be, just a little bit. But no, he is they're booking him to be essentially, nicest way I can put it, a regular season merchant, or like a regularly like televised event merchant. And it's just like, this man, just let him win a couple, actual, let him win a couple pay-per-view matches. Meaningful, exactly.
Like a title match or shit. Like, honestly, the best way to compare it is he's just getting the Dolph Ziggler treatment.
Yep.
And it's just horrible. I mean, there's no sense in all that shit.
Yeah, and we're not saying he's on the level of Dolph Ziggler, but we're saying it's just
it's similar how the treatment.
It's a very similar treatment all the way around.
Well, but I mean, I don't know. Overall, I guess it was a decent match.
Yeah.
Like, it was worse of the night, which there was really good matches, but it was the weakest one. They didn't build it up at all leading into it. And it fell flat. I mean, there's nothing, of course, making the wrong decision, like to have Damian go over just killed it, man. Like that, it's over with. There's, move Finn on to the next thing. Hopefully it's somewhat better, I guess. I don't know. It like I said, it's just upsetting to see how he's being used. So, yeah, that's about all. I mean, it's a man. I don't know. I guess it's like probably give it a thumbs down just for how it was, executed.
Yeah, the ending really killed it for me.
Yeah.
But the way they've been booking lately has just been kind of disappointing, to be honest. But, all that aside, the next match.
Well, before the next match, you had the Triple H when Triple H came out and announced the Crown Jewel Championship.
Yeah.
Like,
And beautiful.
Like it's gonna be, the world, like we talked about, world heavyweights versus the WWE champions, men and women's, and whoever wins, whoever wins, each one gets they get this Crown Jewel Championship. It's whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like when Braun Strowman won the damn greatest Royal Rumble match of all time. Like it was that fucking big ass green belt he got in Saudi. Like it's the same fucking speed. Like I don't know, it's just the same shit. So
Yeah, disappointing.
yeah, like it's not gonna amount to shit. It's kind of lackluster. Like you could have if I was him, I would have brought the women's mid card titles. I would have debuted them, but maybe they're waiting to do that for SmackDown, and I don't know. Maybe they're just waiting to do that like in December when there's no pay-per-views. You know what I'm saying? That way they can have a good gauntlet matches to see who can win who'll be the first women's U.S. and Intercontinental champions.
Yeah. I guess we'll see too, but it's like, I don't know. Personally, I feel like, we're talking about Liv and Nia right now. I feel like Liv would probably win on some Judgment Day bullshit. And, respectfully. And, she's getting a new nickname. Mid-Morgan.
Mid-Morgan?
People are calling her Mid-Morgan because she hasn't really been living up to her potential. At least some people feel that way. I disagree. I mean, I quite enjoy what she's been doing, but
she's had a lot of title defenses.
No, not really. I mean, no meaningful ones. I mean, let's say she's defended against like Zelina Vega,
and then Rhea Ripley, and that's
it. And Rhea Ripley like 2 or 3 times.
Televised. That's not like she's done some house shows, but that's different. Like we're just talking about televised title defenses have been lackluster.
And they have been.
I mean, they've been good matches, just
compared to what she's capable of,
Yeah. But like Liv was looking like she looked really well the other night in the match. I thought she looked great, and like of course Rhea, she was awesome selling, and like Rhea's just a badass anyways. So is Liv. Like they just have a great chemistry in the ring, so it's fun. But you can't keep having them have a fucking title match over and over again. You know what I'm saying?
No, I do.
They got to do something different.
Yeah, and eventually I do feel like Rhea will come out on top without Raquel Rodriguez, messing everything up. And I guess she's back, and honestly, that was just like a big, oh, okay, like.
Yeah, that was
all right.
I guess we can talk about that, dude. That match was great up until that point. Like even with Dominique and having Dominique up there in the shark cage, and like that was cool. And then him falling out and dangling from the shackles on his foot, like all that shit was awesome. And then Rhea started beating him with the kendo stick, and then Raquel Rodriguez runs out, and it's like no pop, brother, no pop.
The fact that here's the thing. when people see somebody and they're like squinting their eyes like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And, it's not a good look. It just isn't, and I hate that. I really do because like,
She
is she bad? No, she's just mid as hell. And
she was the right person to put in that position because her and Liv were like good friends on screen. They were like best friends, and then Raquel and Rhea had problems. Like they had beat, like it lined up story wise, it was fine. The execution of it sucked ass. Like
oh,
her
absolutely.
coming out there, how she did, and then hitting Rhea with the finisher. The bell rang, and then she hit the bell rang once they got into the ring, hit her with the finisher, and then she drags Liv's body over the top of Rhea, and the bell has already been ringing for a minute or two, like it was a DQ. Like Rhea won the match by disqualification, but Liv retained.
Yeah.
It's like, bitch, why are you dragging her over the top of her if she's already, if the match is already over? Like, there was, a serious botch right there. It was just unfortunate ending. Very unfortunate ending to what that match was capable of doing.
Yeah. And it was just like, I really do feel like there was some balls dropped during this pay-per-view, but nothing to the point where it was like, oh, this is an irredeemably bad
No,
pay-per-view.
no,
And
it was cause the high points carried it, I guess. Like, the Bailey and Nia match, dude, I know we talked about it, but Nia looked really good. Nia has gotten so much better in the ring since she's came back. I would say even just the last 6 months, dude. She has looked good.
oh yeah.
And,
And we're not big Nia Jax fans here. I ain't gonna sit there and pull a fucking, I ain't gonna sit here and be Jim Cornette about it. And pretty much his whole concept is like, oh, is she fat? Oh, she must suck. Look, I'm sorry, you fucking cuck, but no, Nia's actually improved quite a bit. Mic work wise, maybe not, but the actual art of working in the ring, no, she's been doing pretty damn good. She's
yep.
playing into her character quite a bit. I gotta admit, she's doing her damn thing. But it's just, it's odd to see someone as experienced in the ring as Nia Jax finally hit her second or third gear as a performer. It did take a while. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I can't say I'm super surprised because I mean she got the blood in her. She's
Mm-hmm.
part of the Anoa'i family, and it's finally okay, finally, you're doing it, and I feel like she's really coming to her own on this championship run, and I'm happy for her. I'm proud of her. I feel like everything she's been doing lately has been stellar work, and I'm just happy to see her finally improve. But with all that in mind, I do feel like the ending of the Liv Morgan Rhea Ripley match was definitely disappointing because throughout it was a really good match. I mean, Rhea Ripley's, I'll go a step beyond and say that she's one of the three best wrestlers in the world right now, man or woman, does not matter. Um, she cannot miss. She hasn't had a bad match in a while. She's just that good, and I feel like a lot of people don't give her the respect she deserves because, whether it be she's a woman or whether it be they like someone else more than her, which I feel like is a really stupid reason. It's like, she is that bitch, respectfully.
Yep.
And
Respectfully, BBL.
respectfully, BBL Rhea. And,
Nah, she's a top notch performer. It's not like, that's what's crazy is right now you could look at the top three and you could go Gunther, Bailey, Rhea, and nobody could argue with that shit. Like, that's how fucking, like, Bailey, she's the GOAT. And I've been on my Bailey shit for a while now, but dude, she has not put up a bad, like, she's just getting better and better. And like, holy fuck. Like, she's just on God mode right now. Like, there's nobody fucking with Bailey. Rhea's the same way though. Like, I saw both of them at that house show. Fucking phenomenal. Phenomenal. I mean, those two are awesome. And like, of course, Gunther you can't fuck with him. And Gunther's mic work, like, it's always been decent, it's always been good. Like, compared to his ring work, it's like decent. But like, it's been good. And now, dude, this heel run he's been on the mic the last 3 months, my God, Gunther has been fucking cooking, dude. You can't fuck with, like, those are my three favorite right now. But, outside of that, I mean, that was what, but we were at the Live, we kind of went on a little tangent there, but, the Live and Rhea match, yeah, the ending was it was just damn butt wash. It wasn't.
yeah, it was dog shit, respectfully. Like,
Yeah.
It doesn't mean she's bad. It doesn't mean that either performer that was in the match was bad. But to act like that match was anything but disappointing, especially at the end, you're just lying to yourself. Because if anybody saw Raquel Rodriguez and was like, oh, no, you're an idiot. Like, you have a fucking you have a big mommy kink, and like, that's okay. But like, yeah, you're lying to yourself, dude. That match should have ended with one of them winning. Like, it didn't matter who won that match, but DQ, come on. Like, you're adding somebody into that feud that has no business being there.
Yep. And now this feud's just going to fucking drag on. It should have just ended last night, but now it's going to drag on. So, fuck it. We'll see what they do. Maybe they'll have a good ending to it at fucking Survivor Series. Who knows? It'll probably be like an intergender war games, which actually would be pretty cool if they did that.
I just want to say the Dominique fucking Rhea match, because a lot of people, kind of a hot take in the IWC right now is that everybody's like, okay, we get it. Rhea Ripley can beat up Dominique, but like, why can't Dominique beat up Rhea? It's like, well, because he's physically not able to. I think is the biggest answer. But
yeah, see, that's when Brock Lesnar comes back and you let him give Rhea Ripley an F5.
If Brock Lesnar joins the Judgment Day, that'll be such a wild ass left turn that it'll, like, depending on how they book it, it's either going to be great or god awful, and no chance for an in between. Not even a little bit.
Mm-mm. But I mean, outside of that, I guess we can go into the main event.
Oh, do we have to? No.
Well,
it really wasn't even that bad of a match. Again, it's like they got us really, really high, expecting an amazing pay-per-view with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, and then none of the matches, surprise, surprise, none of the matches lived up to that. So, and then it like, even with the crowd, like, it reflected in the crowd.
They were dead, man. They were exhausted after that Hell in a Cell match.
As they should have been. I mean, think about going to that show yourself after seeing something like that, and then you have to watch Nia Jax and Bailey.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ. Like,
even watching it on Peacock, I was like, fuck, I'm worn out. Like, I was like, watching it on TV was a lot. I can't imagine being there and like yelling and shit, like physically exerting your body like that. Like, yeah, it was a wild ass time. But they, so obviously we're not going to talk about that anymore. we'll just say that. They dropped the ball. That should have been the main event. But the main event was Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, facing Jacob Fatu and Solo. Solo loses big match after big match. He's whatever. He's subpar at best. Jacob Fatu is fucking awesome, and he does not need to be in the bloodline. Roman Reigns looked fucking awesome. I mean, like, I don't know what you can say. Like Roman's just that fucking dude, you know? I mean, it is what it is. Like, Roman Reigns is the top dude.
Dude, not to interject. No, I'm not trying to interrupt you or interject or anything, but if anybody's listening, I'm actively looking at Damian Priest's Wikipedia page. It says, did you know his birth name was Big Bad Damien?
God bless.
That's what it says, dude. I'm not even joking.
Well, that's rough.
That's pretty rough. But anyway.
But, so the main event, we have, oh boy. So, yeah, it was, I mean, Roman Reigns was awesome. Like, that crucifix driver he had, fucking sick. I mean, he was just, and dude, the way he was, there's nobody that can get a crowd hyped like Roman Reigns, man. Like, he was feeding into him, and he was just like, he had that crowd fucking buzzing. Like, he's the only person, and I get that, he's the only person that you could put on after the Hell in a Cell match that could make it somewhat redeemable. But even at that point, like, to me, the problem with the match is it was a Roman match. It was a slow, methodical, like Roman, you know, just an ass beater. And then it speeds up like the last 8 minutes of the match is when it gets crazy. You know, that's how it went down. And, you know, it was just, it was like, it just kind of didn't play well with the other guys, you know, like the other four, like doing that slow burn. And they kind of just didn't, I don't know. It just didn't gel that well to me, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I mean, Cody versus Roman, you know, they've had good matches, but but Cody doesn't, I don't know. Cody was a slow burn match, doesn't hit as good as him, you know, just coming out there and like going for it, you know. And it's just, I don't know, it's just the way it is, like in my opinion. But, I mean, overall, yeah, it wasn't a horrible match. But like I said, that's my takeaways. It's just pretty much that, like, you know, Solo was subpar at best. Jacob doesn't need to be in the bloodline. He's too good for them. And Roman was sick as fuck. Cody was himself. I get, like, he just needs to be away from the bloodline. He needs to detach himself from all that. Like, they need to have a superstar shakeup and, like, get that son of a bitch, put him on Raw, put Gunther on SmackDown. That way Gunther's like, I don't give a fuck about your family. Come talk to me when somebody wants to wrestle for the world title, and I'll beat your ass there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we need. Like, Cody needs to be on Raw. Gunther needs to be on SmackDown. Like, that's how it should be, in my opinion. But it's not, so whatever. I don't know. It was alright. It was fucking, I don't know. I don't have that much to say about it. It didn't do that much for me. And I'm like, I was already burnt out, and then, you know, Jimmy Uso popped up at the end of it, and I was like, there we go. Like, that was pretty cool, you know, getting to see Jimmy. Cause I done put it out of my mind. I was like, well, he hadn't come back yet, so fuck it, he ain't coming back, I guess. Like, and then he pops out and super kicks, And by God, he gave some clean ass super kicks last night. I'll give him that.
Who, Jimmy?
Yeah.
I would say, like, I don't know if it's because Jimmy's been gone for so long and we ain't been able to see his super kicks, but compared to Jay's, dude, like, his might be better. But of course, like, absence does make the heart grow fonder.
Yeah.
So,
But Jimmy's was, man, he hit some nasty ass kicks on him last night. You know, took out, you know, the Tongans.
yeah.
And then distracted Solo, and then Roman hit Solo with a spear, ended it. And then the whole stare down at the end. And then when they walked out of the ring, like Jimmy and Roman walked out, and then Cody got jumped, and Jimmy's like, he's like, hey man, you gave him your word. He's like, I know you're the tribal chief. He's like, but he's like, you gave him your word. He's like, well, he's like, it was just one time, you know, for the match. He said, that one, he said, hell, it's still tonight. He's like, come on. And then he talked him into it. And then Jimmy and Roman came out there and cleared house, that was cool as shit. Getting to see that go down.
Yeah.
And then of course they were standing there and Roman and Cody were staring down. It was like, he's like, I'm coming back for it. I'm coming back for the title. And then the Rock music hit and Rock just came out, song played, and he was like, kind of like 1, 2, 3 on his fingers, and then took his 2 fingers, his index and ring finger, and then like the throat slit, and then he walked back, and that was it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, whatever that means, that's gonna happen. He's putting himself back in there. Dude, whatever they I don't want to see. I hope it's not Roman and Cody again at fucking Mania. God damn it. Like, they put on good matches, but motherfucking hell, dude, it's been, like, they've already done it 2 years in a row. We don't need them in another fucking match. Like, you know, the dream scenario is Randy Orton beating Cody, or Randy Orton winning, like, Randy Orton and John Cena win the Elimination Chamber and have John Cena versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania 41. And then you can, then you can do whatever. You can have all them other some bitches. You can do whatever. I mean, the world heavyweight, you could probably, if Gunther still high, I don't know. Hell, Gunther and Braun Breaker, I don't know. Hell, I don't even know, like, who would win the Rumble. Honestly, I don't have a good prediction for that shit yet. You know, like, what would make sense? I mean, maybe CM Punk to go after the world title. You know? I don't know.
Yes.
Because Punk's never won a Rumble either, so, like, that would be cool to see him. You know? Because I'm like, dude, like, obviously Punk has a few more years. We know it's John Cena's last year. John Cena's getting, like, he's becoming a Grand Slam champion. We know he's going to win the IC title at some point. We know he's going to win, he's going to win at least the world title to become 17, or he's going to win the Cody's title and become an 18-time, which, see, I think he should do that. I think he should win that title to be an 18-time. That way Randy Orton can win some, because he still has about 5 or 6 years left. Let Randy, get it to 17, and then have, John and Randy, be 18-time and 17-time champs. And which would be crazy because both of them, they came out of the same class of 2002 OVW. So, to have 35 championships between 2 people from one class is pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's just long-term shit, I guess. But as far as the main event, I mean, you can add some stuff to it if you want, but it was what it was for me. It wasn't nothing, over the top.
No, I think personally, wherever they decide to go with the storylines leaving this Bad Blood, I do feel like The Rock coming back, it's kind of, yeah. It's like, I can't say I'm surprised, but it's just like, we don't have to interject. Like, add somebody new to the mix. Like, that's all I'm saying. It's like, why isn't Rikishi in there? Like, not even in a wrestling role, but just like as like, yeah, as like a manager or something like that. Cause he never really was a god awful mic worker.
No.
Despite what a lot of people may think, Like, I think his most famous moment on the mic is definitely like one of his more overrated moments as a mic worker. Like, I did it for The Rock. Like, it's like, okay. But, I think I feel like he never really got the credit he actually deserved as an in-ring performer. Because you think like Rikishi in 2000, dude. The dude was hard to beat.
Yep.
In the ring. I mean, don't get me wrong. I can think of probably like 5 or 6 people, but Rikishi in the ring in 2000 was feeding families, and in the best way possible. And I feel like a lot of people, like, if you were to sit there and be like, "Oh, they'd be like, "Well, you talking about the dude with the big ass?" Is like, well, yeah, fucking dump truck Rikishi, man. He was giving everybody the business, but like, he was so fucking athletic, dude. Like, the amount, like, that is the only 400 plus pounder I've ever seen sell a clothesline like a cruiserweight.
Oh, yeah. Do a fucking flip, man.
Do a whole fucking back flip with a twist. Like, there's some people, like, like in the shape that Finn Balor's in that can't even do that shit. And this dude's like 450 pounds doing it. And it was amazing to see. And that's why I would like to see him back in some capacity, just for him to finally get his just due. But, time will tell. I do feel like The Rock doing that symbolic little throat cut. I feel like he's either going to turn on Roman or he's going to get in Cody's ear.
Yeah.
Because there's still some questions left unanswered about what The Rock handed him. Because you remember back on that Raw, I think it was right after Mania. Yeah, he handed him something.
Yeah.
And it's not really been touched on since. And he whispered something in his ear, and Cody's entire demeanor changed.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And ever since then, Cody's also kind of had this edge to him, and it's not just because he's the champion, but he's like, for lack of a better term, he's edging us with a heel turn. And Kevin Owens, I guess, is officially heel again since he beat the hell out of Cody right after Bad Blood last night. So I guess once again, Kevin Owens has turned on someone. Surprise, surprise, the sky is blue as well. But Kevin Owens is a better heel than he is a face. So
he's a damn good face, but he's an awesome heel.
He's one of the 5 best heels of the last 25 years.
Yeah, like him, Miz,
Randy Orton, Edge. No matter how you feel about him, he was doing evil shit. Mark Henry. Oh
goddamn.
Hot take. Mark Henry's the best heel of all time. No.
The Hall of Pain.
The Hall of Pain run fed families.
Honestly, you say that as a joke, but truthfully, if you just put the Hall of Pain, if you put the Hall of Pain run up against like anybody else's prime, like you might be looking at the best heel run. Like you could say that's the best heel run of all time.
Yeah, and I know it's wishful thinking, and he was a bit out of his prime at that point. Because, I mean, fuck, he just, like, it started off with him acting like he was going to retire. Like, he was at that point of his career, and everybody believed it. He didn't tell a soul. I think the only person...
That was 2 years later. That was 2013 when he did that.
Oh, well, okay.
No, what happened with the Hall of Pain was he was supposed to have a dark match after SmackDown one night, and Vince, like, played a joke on him and said that he ended up playing a joke and like having Marks just stand out there by himself and nobody came down just to embarrass him. And when Mark got backstage, he told the producer, he said, tell him, he said, if anybody's back there, he said, I'm beating their ass. And he walked back and nobody was there. So he just tore down, like he damaged the whole backstage area. Like he just wrecked the whole fucking dressing room, locker room, every fucking thing. Like the production area, he ruined everything. And like Vince is like, well, he said, can you channel that anger? And he's like, yeah, I'm fucking pissed. Like, he said he grabbed the hold of Vince McMahon, like, wake him up. He's like, yeah, I'm fucking mad. He's like, you fucking disrespecting me. And Vince is like, yes. He's like, I love this. He's like, keep this fucking anger. He said, we're going to put you on a fucking, he's like, we're going to put you on a run. And then that's how the Hall of Pain was born.
It was beautiful.
Yep. Like, from Vince being a dickhead, and then we got the best heel, like, one of the best heel runs of all time. So, you know.
Yeah, no, it was gorgeous. But
But
that
anyway,
being said, I would say overall, bad blood for me. Uh, I feel like honestly, this is going to be my biggest thing about it. If they would have had Drew McIntyre, CM Punk be the main event,
yeah.
it would have been an easy 9 out of 10 pay per view for me. Really, the only hang up I had was the ending of the like the Finn Balor and Damian match. Well, more like an 8 out of 10, I guess. Otherwise, the way they structured the pay per view itself and all that. Don't take this as a bad rating, but a 7 out of 10. Like, I would say maybe a 7.5.
I was, like, my thought, I'm thinking of, like, giving a letter grade was, like,
Okay.
in my head, I was sitting there, like,
B minus.
just thinking about, I was going to give it a C plus. I mean,
Yeah, it's like for C plus, B minus. Like it could have been better, but it wasn't. So
the execution, like I said, the execution of Raquel Rodriguez coming out was horrible. CM Punk should have headlined, main evented, and the, of course, if Tiffy should have cashed in.
yeah,
Which that's like, I know she's going to cash in, so that one's not as bad, but it still would have been off the pop. That would have, dude, if she would have cashed in and won, that would have rejuvenated, like, that crowd would have fucking picked back up full circle. Like, it would have been back. I think they kind of shit the bed on that one, but, it is what it is.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's just, stuff like that. And then, like, of course, Finn Balor losing was just a horseshit call. That's what really, like, that and the execution of Raquel Rodriguez really that's what kind of made it fall down the grading system for me. Cause if those would have been better, even with Punk and them opening up, I would have still given it, probably a B plus, or maybe a B minus, or maybe an A minus, but, fuck it, it is what it is. They didn't, so like, I'm just gonna stick with a C plus at best. Yeah, after that, I guess we can talk about what everybody wants to fucking hear, baby. Goddamn hashtag anchor down. Go Commodores.
Anchor down. Goddamn. Fucking something that hasn't happened in 40 fucking years. Vanderbilt beat the Alabama Crimson Tide, and it feels so surreal. Even looking at the score now, knowing what happened yesterday, just everything that happened, and holy shit, like, where does Alabama go from here?
Well, the rankings are out, so I can tell you where they're at.
Yeah, I guess they did just come out, didn't they?
Yep.
The coaches poll is for sure out, but
So the coaches poll it out. You want me to?
Well, I'm looking at I'm looking at the AP now.
Let's see. I'm looking at.
We go 25-1 if you want.
Let's see, because I'm on ESPN app.
All right.
So I don't know if it's the same.
We can
Let
go
me
ahead and
let
we
me
can go
go.
ahead and start with the others receiving votes
Hold
if
up.
you want.
Yeah, you can say that. Let me go to the top 25.
All right. The others receiving votes right now, USC dropped out of the poll after losing 2. They are still receiving the second most. They're receiving the most votes that aren't a ranked team, unfortunately. Southern Cal, 98 votes compared to number 25, who we will get into. I'm not going to spoil it yet, with 165. So there's quite a gap between 25 and 26. Right after that, Nebraska with 51 votes. Navy and Army are receiving votes and are both undefeated. Don't you love to see it? Vanderbilt, somehow not ranked, is pretty much 30th. 31st would be Arkansas. Washington State is second. They're tied with Iowa with 8 votes apiece. Texas Tech with 7 votes themselves. The Cuse, after I guess you could call it an upset, beating UNLV. UNLV's had an excellent year so far and lost a heartbreaker in overtime to Syracuse. Washington is receiving 4 votes as well as Louisville. Colorado getting 3 votes, and Kentucky only receiving 1 vote, but it's still Kentucky. So don't don't do it. All right. That being said, you want me to do 25-21, or you want to go ahead and do that?
Well, I was trying to find the AP, but all I got is the dang coaches poll.
All right. I just went to apnews.com. It's there. So
Coaches poll. You went to what?
uh,
AP.com.
yeah, apnews.com. So like Associated Press. So anyway, I'll go ahead and do 25-21 if that's all right. 25, we got the SMU Mustangs. Fuck Dallas, but my least hated Dallas based team, the Southern Methodist University, finally showing what they're capable of. I know some people were thinking they were going to win the ACC this year. I wouldn't go that far, but, Miami did. I mean, they had a hell of a comeback. They really did. But that being said, kind of a a good game against the 22nd ranked, now unranked Louisville Cardinals. And 24, you're going to love this, Harley. Michigan, after dropped 14 whole spots after losing to an unranked Washington. Washington came back, got their revenge at a home game. You love to see it. 23, the Fighting Illini finally lose their first game of the year against a very powerful defense in Penn State. Number 22, one of the other undefeated ACC teams right now, Pittsburgh, the Panthers, after winning a kind of a slobber knocker between North Carolina. I'm not fully bought in on Pittsburgh being that team in the ACC, but the ACC is definitely weak as hell this year.
Oh, yeah.
So not really many big surprises there. And 21, we got Missouri after getting their shit packed in by Texas A&M at Texas A&M, which, the 12th man is one of the hardest stadiums to play at in college sports, if not sports in general. But 41-10, really? Like 41-10? Are we dead ass? Like they really like they got, yeah, it wasn't good. But anyway, we will go ahead and let you take 20-15 real quick.
Well, okay, I'm on the AP website now, but it has like 18, 18, 18. So I don't know
Yeah,
if it's 20, but I'll just go 20 is Oklahoma. They moved up. one spot.
One spot.
Like Oklahoma's very
It's
underwhelming.
because they're all tied in boats right now.
Yeah, they I don't know about Oklahoma. I'm not impressed
I'm
by
not bought
them.
in on Oklahoma yet. The Red River rivalry here in a couple weeks is definitely going to be the biggest. Like, all right, let's see what you're made of game.
Hmm.
But
Now the next team, number 19, is the team I'm worried about the most in the Big Ten. Is facing my Buckeyes is Indiana Hoosiers. Mark your calendars, week 13, Indiana versus Ohio State. That might be the precursor for the Big Ten championship game that will follow, I believe, 2 weeks after,
yeah,
maybe 3 weeks, possibly. I can't remember the schedule, but anyways, look, Indiana is they're the real deal. That coach has changed that program around. Like they playing, like their defense is their defense is hard hitting, man. Like they are good, and their offense is rolling. Man, Indiana's they're solid, man. Then you got Kansas State coming in at 18, moved up 2 spots. Kansas State, of course they dropped the ball against BYU a few weeks ago when that dude shoved a 5-layer beefy burrito up his ass. So that's a little heartbreaking, but Kansas State's playing pretty well. They're a good team. Then we got Boise State coming in at 17. They moved up 4 spots. Well deserving along the back of fucking Ashton Jeanty, because what a fucking powerhouse that dude is. My God, what a running back. Over 1,000 yards in 5 games. He hadn't even played 5 full fucking games. Like, we did the math a while ago with the halves and the quarters he's been taking out. Like, the dude's played about 3.5 games. And, 3.5 full games. And he has over 1,000 yards and 16 touchdowns. Dude, dude's a stud.
yeah. If they would actually let him play to the fourth quarter, this dude might have like 1,300 yards by now, if not more, and like 20 touchdowns, easy.
Easy. Like, the dude he's something else.
Like,
Um,
you're witnessing history, folks. That's all I'm going to say. This might actually be the best college running back season of all time.
Like this is probably the best chance of anybody will ever. Basically, how the game's progressing, like this is probably the best chance anybody has to break Barry Sanders' record, and that's very I don't say that fucking lightly. So yeah, he's that good. Then you got Utah coming in at 16, moving up 2 spots.
If you say so.
I mean, they're in the Big 12 now. Utah's good. They're
They
playing.
had a bye week.
Yeah. I don't think they're gonna, do anything too crazy. Like they're all right, but we'll see. I reckon.
Yeah.
With that going on, we'll let you go. Oh wait, my bad. Hold up. 29, 18. Hold up. This fucking shit is confusing me. I said 20, 19, 18, 17. Okay, so
Yeah, so I got 15 to 11 real quick. So at 15, we already talked about the losers. Let's talk about the winners of the Texas A&M and Missouri game. After losing Walter Nolan to the Hottie Toddies last season, it doesn't really look like they've had any plans to slow down. Um, an excellent performance against the top 10 team in the nation. And yesterday was probably one of the most exciting days in college football we're going to have this season. And as exciting as the season's been so far, that's saying a lot. We've already seen top 10 teams lose at least 10 times, I would think, this year. Like, been a ridiculous ass season so far. And, whoever's next on the plate for Texas A&M is in for a world of trouble because I think they're starting to get hot. And I feel like they're kind of the dark horse in the SEC right now. Depends on what the rest of their schedule looks like. Number 14, we got the Mormons in Utah, BYU, one of the two big, like, it's just weird as hell thinking is like, if I would have told you, it's like, Iowa State and BYU are going to be the two best teams in the Big 12, you would be like, shut up. And like, it's really weird to see, but, I'm not fully bought in on BYU the way I am with Iowa State as far as winning the Big 12 goes. And it's not just because they're 3 spots below them. It's more so that, BYU had a really struggling game against Baylor a couple weeks ago. And, Iowa State made quick work of Baylor this last week. So, BYU coming off an off week and them, moving up 3 spots. Whereas this next team, LSU, had a pretty powerful game against South Alabama, 42-10, made quick work of them at home. What else do you expect out of what LSU is capable of? I still feel like, this next game against Ole Miss in Death Valley is going to be Ole Miss's by far the hardest game they've had so far this year and a very easily losable game. I repeat, a very easily losable game. On paper, Ole Miss is the best team between those two. But this is a game that Ole Miss can get cocky and fuck up in a heartbeat. All right. You look at the history between them and LSU, it tends to go in Louisiana State's favor. So, being an Ole Miss fan myself, I really hope that they, how do you put this politely, don't get their heads stuck in their own asses. So, we will see how that goes. Number 12 tied in votes with number 11, but we're just going to go in order. Notre Dame, the one and only independent team in the top 25, is, doing the Lord's work, I guess. Pretty much very Notre Dame football, very ugly football, very why are you almost losing to Louisville football. And not that Louisville's a bad team, don't get me wrong, but, that's like that was their last game. They haven't played in a week. And I feel like, the rest of their season is going to be an uphill battle. So we will see how that goes for them. Number 11, and then I'll pass it on to you. Iowa State, I would say one of the bigger surprises on this list, but still a very solid team all the way around. Had a very slow start against Baylor and turned it around. And they wound up having 542 total yards against Baylor, which I think is more of a reflection of how bad Baylor's defense is compared to how good Iowa State is. But, with a team like Iowa State, not really many people expected them to just come out swinging and become like a fringe top 10 team the way they have. And whoever they got next on the schedule needs to take them very, very seriously because they are a team that does not look like they're going to slow down for anybody. Yep. And with that being said, we'll go 10-6 real quick.
All right, so we got Clemson moved up 5 spots. Clemson's been like they started off slow this year, had a few rough games, and they've picked it up, man. Like they've been looking pretty good. Like their offense is a lot better. Their defense is actually, stopping people enough for the offense to get it very far ahead. So that's all I got to do.
Like them losing to Georgia at the start of the year kind of kick-started the rest of their season. So expect to see them at least fighting for a playoff berth.
Yeah, they'll probably win the ACC. I mean, them or Pittsburgh, I guess.
Yeah, I ain't got much faith in Miami either.
Oh yeah, I forgot they're up here. Well, they could win it. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It'll probably be Clemson, Miami fighting for the damn to see who'll be the ACC champions. But with that said, moving up 3 spots, hotty toddy, by God.
Hotty toddy.
Ole Miss is number 9 in the nation, top 10 again. Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
90 or bust. Honestly, hell, it's wide open in the SEC now.
There's only one undefeated team in the SEC, and they're ranked number one in the nation. That goes to show you the bias. But, Texas still has a long season ahead of them, man.
Yep. So you got Ole Miss, number 9, which is pretty solid. We have Tennessee fell down to 8th after they lost in an ugly fashion, lost to Arkansas, which,
Disgusting.
and I'm not saying that I'm right, but Trevor was like, watch out for Tennessee. I'm like, they ain't done shit. And they played somebody with they played somebody with like a little pulse in their defense. And that shit was ugly.
Yeah, it was. I will be honest. I was wrong about Tennessee. And, yeah. Moving forward.
Alabama. Probably game of the year.
Yeah, for sure.
Vanderbilt beating Alabama was fucking awesome. Let's get the Commodores to win the SEC.
We need it.
Yeah, Alabama. Yeah, they dropped 6 spots. Honestly, they should have dropped more than that. But
They should be out of the top 10 by now. But Alabama is always going to have a chokehold on the AP poll. That's that bias for you.
Yep, that's exactly
And
right.
I think they got cocky. I think they went to Vanderbilt thinking this is an easy win. And Vandy is not the same Vandy as they usually are. Vandy dominated them. Like, I don't care if it's a 5-point win, 5-point loss. I don't care, dude. They dominated them. Possession time had them beat like 3-1, damn near. Like, they dominated Alabama. And it's so crazy to think that any team would dominate Bama, much less fucking Vanderbilt.
Yep.
But they did. And congratulations to Vandy for arguably upset of the year.
Congratulations on breaking my heart. Then we got Miami of Florida. The U coming in at number 6. God almighty. I don't know. Like, they're good. I mean, Miami they've been playing good. I don't know, yesterday they really didn't even look that good. It's just everybody else fucking lost, so they didn't have another chance to move up because it's either California is better than what we think or Miami's defense is asshole because
Miami's had 2 really close games with unranked teams these last 2 weeks, dude. I think they're starting to kind of cool off a little bit.
yeah, I think the cracks are about to bust open.
I think so. I just looked at the rest of their season, man. They've definitely got some easily losable games. All things considered. Anyway, 5-1. Only really one surprise in here, and I'll let you know when we run across it.
It's number 3.
Yeah. Number 5, Georgia, stayed at 5. Kind of weird that Penn State kind of jumped them, but they did have a pretty ugly game against Auburn, even though, like, don't let the score fool you, 31-13. They were fighting for their life at certain points in that game, and I feel like their confidence is completely shattered after losing to Alabama. But let me let you in on the secret. It's Alabama. Don't get your feelings hurt. It's fucking bad. Like, if you're getting your feelings hurt because you lost to Alabama, you're probably like me. You just hate them. But it's Bama. Like, what did you expect? Like, I expected Georgia to beat them, but I was wrong. Because Bama didn't just beat Georgia. They plumb fucking embarrassed them. And then I feel like they're still kind of riding off of that hangover from losing to them. And they didn't quite beat the hell out of Auburn the way we all thought they would. But props to Auburn for sticking in it as close as they did. It was kind of like Texas and Mississippi State a few weeks ago. Number 4, Penn State jumped up 3 spots to number 4.
Boy, howdy. That's terrible.
Yeah. After kind of scooting by UCLA. That Penn State defense still looks pretty strong, but they still got a long season to go. And I feel like they're going to get those mid-season blues in a heartbeat. So I don't expect them to stay a top 5 team the rest of this year. Number 3, we got the mighty Oregon Ducks. Three of the top 5 teams are Big Ten, and can't say I'm surprised right now. The Big Ten definitely seems like it's going to be a Big Ten year, and Oregon and Ohio State, that's got game of the year potential. But we will see how it goes. Number 2, we got Ohio State coming off of probably the ugliest blowout I've ever seen. Because, honest to God, I know this is going to sound funny, and I'm not shitting on Ohio State at all, but you know just as well as I do, they should have mollywopped Iowa.
Yeah.
Like more, like it should have been like 21 to, it should have been like 21 to nothing at halftime, but they came in 7-up, and they played that Ohio State football. That defense is an absolute monster, and I feel sorry for anybody that's having to play Ohio State in the upcoming weeks. They are definitely, I think that game against Iowa, that touchdown just pissed them off more than it did anything. And they're probably going to try to take out all that aggression on Oregon, but Oregon is not a team you want to get overly aggressive with. Oregon has the capability of embarrassing the hell out of Ohio State, and Ohio State has the capability of absolutely mollywopping Oregon. We will just have to see how it goes. I personally think Ohio State's going to win, as does Harley. And number 1, good old burnt orange. Texas is back on top after Alabama suffered a soul-crushing loss to Vanderbilt. And, they're coming off a bye week, and I feel like this next week, the Red River rivalry is going to be poetry in motion. And I feel like Oklahoma is actually going to pull off maybe not an upset, but like they're going to surprise some people because nobody's really paying Oklahoma any attention except for Oklahoma fans. And I guess we'll see. But that is the top 25 as of right now. And anything else you want to add?
Not really. I mean, I'm excited about the Ohio State and Oregon game next week. Like, I know, like Ohio State, like, they've been playing, like, I mean, Iowa was giving them all that defense could handle until they couldn't. Like, Ohio State's just suffocating people. Like, oh, dude, it's wild that this year, like, and I said this before the season, like, Ohio State's defense is so freaking good. Like, that's just what they're doing. Like, they're just going to suffocate. They're just going to suffocate you, man. Like, they're going to beat the brains out on defense. And, like, as long as they keep the running game, as long as they don't try to be like, oh, let's get Will Howard to, like, start trying to throw bombs and, like, do all this shit. No. Because the best way I've noticed that offense works with passing is, like, you can throw some quick, slants or screens, and hit, like, Emeka Egbuka. You could hit him.
You got Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah, Jeremiah Smith, dude, fucking, yeah, you can hit him everywhere. Dude, that son of a bitch is a stud. And, like, he is a red zone threat. He is also, like, once they started yesterday, like, once they opened it up and, like, started giving him end arounds and, passing to it, he is a game changer. And I think that's what they just need to focus on. Like, just get him the ball and let it happen. Like, obviously run it because, like, you have Judkins and Henderson and then Peoples, like, run the fucking piss out of that ball. Burn clock. But, like, when you need something, throw it. Like, get it to Jeremiah Smith or Egbuka, like, and we're going to be gravy. Like, Ohio State, like, this might be, I'm not going to cat to you, man. Like, last year was pretty rough. Even though they went 11-2, like, it was a terrible year. Like, watching them games, I mean, it was hard to watch. You know, given that what the standard of Ohio State football is in my lifetime, it wasn't good. Yeah, like this, honestly, this is, this is probably the best team I've seen Ohio State since, the team with CJ Stroud, his senior season was good, but it wasn't like the defense was good. It was better that year, but it wasn't where it needed to be because if we could have held Georgia once or twice, we would have ended up, going to the Natty. But it is what it is, can't live in the past with that shit. But I think this is, as far as like all around, like this might be the best Ohio State team since the national championship in 14. Like it's, like they're that good and they're going to be a problem. They're going to be a problem come playoff time. So we'll see how it goes. I'm ready for it. I think, but like I said, I am like the Oregon game is going to be fun next week, but and like as weird as it is to say, I told Trevor a while ago, like I'm more concerned about when we play Indiana week 13 than I am about Oregon. So we'll see how that goes.
I imagine you're just chomping at the bit, ready for Michigan at this point.
Oh yeah, like I'm ready for that shit because that's gonna be an ass kicking.
Yeah, man, they don't have Jim Harbaugh and they don't have Blues Clues anymore. So,
Yeah, they got JJ McCarthy. They don't have it. Like they lost damn near all their fucking team. It's on Michigan.
Oh yeah. I know all the Michigan fans, dude. That was funny as fuck. I'm in a Facebook group for college football fans. Watching the immediate turnaround from them saying it's like, oh, well, Ohio State should have just absolutely dominated, who they played. They should have dominated the Hawkeyes. It's like, this is why y'all suck, and then immediately lose to Washington and just radio silence.
Yep. It's beautiful.
Fucking writing checks that their ass can't cash, and that seems to be the story of Michigan. Outside of them winning the Natty last year, which they won thanks to proven cheating. It's not even speculation at this point. Like, proven cheating. And that is what it is.
Yep. Yep.
Whole bunch of tough titties.
By God. But Caleb Williams is lighting it up right now.
Oh yeah. And shout out to the Minnesota Vikings. Shout out Hunter Sheffield and Kenny. Their favorite teams are undefeated, and you love to see it because the Vikings, surprisingly, since the Super Bowl era, if I'm not mistaken, they are like top 5 total wins since the Super Bowl era, and they haven't been able to cash one in yet. That might be the bowl this year. The Vikings might make it out of the NFC.
Maybe.
They look strong this year.
They do. They look good. Well, we'll have some more updates. I don't know. The Bears are playing the Panthers, so that's what it is. But Caleb Williams is looking pretty good. He's got me 30 fantasy points so far, so that's good.
All right.
Let's go, Caleb Williams. Show everybody you're the best.
Yeah, so everybody why Justin Fields is a Steeler now.
That's right. Jaden Daniels is playing pretty good. But that's not too a surprise.
If you watched Jaden Daniels last year, you'd be like, yeah, he's probably going to be the best quarterback out of the draft. But, we are here now, and this dude is already like through 4 or 5 games. He's still up in the 80s in accuracy. And I can't say with confidence that he's actually going to hold like an 80-something career percentage. But the fact that he's still doing it right now, and he's just accurate as a damn bow and arrow, You love
Yeah.
to see it.
That's wild. Man, dude's going. It's week 5, and he's just.
Dimes.
Yep.
Absolute dimes. But I
But
would
yeah.
say that's probably a good stopping point for today's episode. We're going to keep it quick, and we will potentially be back later with the 2001 album review. And we want to thank you for listening to today's episode. I have been Swaggy T, and Ye Olde has been the Hogmaster. And we want to thank you for listening. We love you. We'll see you in a couple hours. We're going home.
Oh yeah. Love you guys. Wait a minute. Whoa. I'm scared.
Whoa.
Just kidding. Love you guys.